Hello, Adventure Kids. It's your friend Christy back again. And today is a very special day. We are celebrating Pentecost. Can you say Pentecost? Okay, all of that will make sense in a moment, but let's have a little think. Have you ever really missed someone? I remember one time when I was a kid, quite a little kid, my parents went on holiday and they left me with our grandparents, which was so much fun. Except at nighttime, I got a little bit lonely, and when I was trying to sleep, I really missed my mum and dad. I don't know if you've ever had that feeling, but I felt a little bit empty inside, and I felt like someone had punched me right here. It even hurt a little bit. And that is a little bit of what I think the disciples in today's Bible story felt like. We remember in Easter celebrating a lot of things, right? But we remember that Jesus died, really sad, and then he saved the world and came back to life 3 days later. It was amazing. And over the next 40 days, he traveled around with his disciples and he really proved to them that he was alive, that he really was God, and that there was more to the story. After those 40 days, he went back to heaven in a cloud. Imagine that. Imagine Jesus is your best friend and then suddenly he's gone. I think the disciples would have really missed him really badly. But they had something to look forward to. It was very exciting because Jesus promised a helper. Can you say helper? Jesus promised a helper. All they had to do was wait. For how long though? Well, waiting is really hard, at least for me. And so all of Jesus' disciples, his friends, they all waited together in a room. And it took 10 days. Now, there was a big holiday called Pentecost. You remember it. We talked about it already. There was a big holiday called Pentecost coming, and it was very exciting. There were people in Jerusalem from all around the world coming to celebrate this special time of Pentecost, and the city was packed. There were people everywhere celebrating, feasting, doing all of the things and the sacrifices. But what were the disciples doing? They were sitting and they were waiting, because that's what Jesus told them to do. Suddenly, the room was filled with wind. Can you make a whooshing sound? Whoosh. The wind was huge and sudden and everywhere, and it wasn't that someone had left a window open. No. It was that God's personal presence, the Holy Spirit, had arrived. It was amazing. And the disciples, they looked around and people appeared to have fire on top of their heads. But here's the crazy thing, it wasn't hurting them and they weren't being burned. It was a symbol of God's Holy Spirit over them. Wow, this is so cool. Okay, and that feeling that they would have had of really missing Jesus, suddenly that was gone because they knew that God was close to them. God was with them through his Holy Spirit. And they started praising and saying thank you and woohoo and all of these things. And then suddenly they weren't speaking their own language anymore. They were praising in other languages from all around the world. It must have been a huge, big, beautiful sound. I'm going to read you from the Bible. This is from Acts 2. It says all of them were filled with the Holy Spirit. They began to speak in languages they had not known before. The Spirit gave them the ability to do this. Big, beautiful sound, right? And so, you remember I told you there were heaps of people in Jerusalem, in the city at that time. When they heard this noise, they came running. They had to know what was going on. And suddenly, they could hear the good news about Jesus in their own language. It was amazing. It was the Holy Spirit speaking through the disciples and talking to the people in a way that they would understand. And so what happens next? Let me tell you. 3,000 people started following Jesus that day. And that is how the church started. Whoa, what a story. True story. What a true story. That is so amazing. A lot happens. So let's go over a couple of things. Firstly, who is the Holy Spirit? The Holy Spirit is God's personal presence. We talked a little bit about this last year. Do you remember? God's personal presence. We also call him the Helper. Number 2, who can be filled with the Holy Spirit? Well, definitely the disciples, as we saw in the Bible story today. And here's the thing. What is a disciple? Well, someone who is following Jesus. You know, if you're watching this right now, chances are you're learning to follow Jesus just like I am, which means you're a disciple, which means who can be filled with the Holy Spirit? You and me can be filled with the Holy Spirit. It's pretty special, isn't it? Oh, yeah. Okay, so the Holy Spirit, he can live inside of us and help us because he's the helper, right? But how do we ask the Holy Spirit for that? Well, actually, the first one's really simple. We just have to ask. We just get to say, hey, Holy Spirit, I'm listening, I'm open, I need your help. It's as simple as that. We've got to ask. We've got to pray. Prayer is just talking to God. Simple as that. Number 2, show me 2 fingers. We've got to have some space. What do I mean by that, though? Well, here's the thing. If I be like, Holy Spirit, please help me, I need help, and then keep on going with whatever I'm doing, and I don't wait for the Holy Spirit to help me, that's not going to be very helpful, is it? No. We got to give the Holy Spirit space to help us. And number 3, we have to have trust. Trust is so important. You know, God may not always help us in a way that is easy to understand or normal, but that is absolutely okay. And we just get to trust God, trust the Holy Spirit through that. We see it time and time again in the Bible and in my life and hopefully in yours as well. Okay, so this month we have been talking about the fruits of the Spirit. Can you say it with me? Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, faithfulness, and self-control. Did I say all of them? I'm pretty sure I did. All of those things come out of us when we are filled with the Holy Spirit. And it's a really good guide to tell, hey, is the Holy Spirit flowing through me? What's the thing on that beautiful list that you struggle with most? For me, I think today it might be patience. Oh, waiting is so hard. And here's the thing, I could be waiting on my own and be pacing and be like about it and scrolling through my phone, looking at videos to try and distract myself. Or I could ask the Holy Spirit for help. Sounds a bit easier, to be honest, doesn't it? I can just breathe, give my now to the Holy Spirit, to God, and be like, can you help me? Can you help me with my patience? And the Holy Spirit wants to, and he will. It's as simple as that. It's a beautiful thing. Okay, we covered a lot of things today. Here's a quick recap. The Holy Spirit came upon the followers of Jesus at Pentecost. That was the first thing that happened. The other thing we talked about, you can be filled with the Holy Spirit too. And what was the third thing? Oh yeah, the Holy Spirit can help us. He's the helper. It's in the name. It's amazing. And we got to give him space, we got to ask, and we got to trust that he will follow through. Well, that is all from me. My challenge for you this week, my prayer for you this week, is that you'll read the Bible, take a look at Acts 2, it's an amazing chapter, and spend some time listening to the Holy Spirit. Ask for his help in your life. He wants to be with you. Okay, I'll see you next time. Bye.